What's going on, everybody? It's your favorite two,
JR.
and King J.
What's
I'm
going on?
Nephew.
I'm the ump.
And how y'all doing, man? We're excited to come on here and man, we're here. Part two.
Part two, brother.
Second podcast.
The first one went very, very well, man.
Yeah, it did.
I've been listening to it, man. I'm excited because I think it's going places, man.
Oh yeah, man. It was awesome, man. We had a good response to it. And man, first and foremost, we just want to take the time to thank everybody, every single one of y'all that watched it, that tuned in, sent messages, commented on it.
Right.
Man, for following us. We're starting to grow a little bit of our followers,
Man.
and we just want to take this time to say thank y'all so much. We really appreciate it. We wouldn't be able to do none of this if it wasn't for y'all.
If it wasn't for y'all. Yeah.
So, thank y'all, and we hope y'all continue to watch. Keep up with us, because, man, we're fixing to start dropping some great content. Like today. We got some good stories today.
I got a real good story coming from Hell Center, Texas, right down the street from Plainview.
Really?
True crime.
Awesome.
Did my research on that, and I think it's going to be pretty good. It was never solved,
Okay.
so it's going to be awesome, man.
That's awesome.
It's intriguing,
Right.
That it's crazy that it happens in our own backyard.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
The story does go back a while, a few years back, actually 50 plus. It was 1955.
Wow.
Yeah. But I'm excited to let y'all know and talk about it. And hopefully it intrigues your mind and it makes you aware of what's happening in our area or what could happen.
Right.
And what are the steps to take, if something like this happens.
Okay. Man, that's good. Heck yeah. See, and that's very important, man, because we live in a city where I feel like we don't have a lot of, or maybe you just don't hear about it.
That's what I was going to say. You don't hear about
we don't have a lot of
crime. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that Plainview's hiding it. It's just
right.
We no longer have a newspaper on a daily like we used to back then since these phones came out.
Yeah, but they used to chunk it out the door.
I used to throw them out.
You used to work as a newspaper guy?
Yeah, I did.
Man, that's crazy. I used to want to. You used to ride a bike?
Yeah, I ride my bike. It was so fun, man. I made a lot of my route was by Wayland.
Oh,
so
okay.
A lot of them was to the dorms.
Oh, wow.
And I got to meet a lot of these youngsters. Well, I was a kid back then. I was probably 13, 14 years old.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was amazing. I had a good time at learning experience,
Yeah, for sure.
So,
dude, that's pretty cool. Man, I got some interesting story. Well, I got one story.
Right.
I got it's called The Boy in the Box. The Boy in the Box. It's a true crime story. And I have an update to it. Well, not an update because we ain't talked about it.
Right.
But we actually have a update this year that they believe they've solved it after.
That's amazing.
Almost 60 plus years, man.
Oh, so it's even older than what I had.
Yeah, well.
Mine was in 55.
Okay, well, no, 50 plus years. It was in 57.
Oh,
so
okay, a couple years after.
There may have been a breakthrough as of 2024. So,
and that's amazing. Is it from genealogy?
Yeah.
DNA?
Yeah, it just, I guess with the times, I mean, now they have things that we didn't have back in the 50s.
Well, most definitely.
You know what I mean? So it's like, now.
Shit, we have stuff we didn't even have in the 70s and 80s,
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of the podcasts that I listen to are true crime.
Right.
And from the 80s, you had fingerprints, lie detectors, but not so much DNA that they could find it. Now, with the new genealogy,
man, they're solving cases
just because a brother who's been locked up or a family member's been locked up and his DNA's in the system.
Right.
That's how it comes out. Genealogy comes out with that. And like, just because your brother's locked up doesn't mean we're not going to find you.
Right.
Not anymore. That wasn't the case back in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, back then they didn't have that luxury of getting to go, deep in the family.
Oh, most definitely.
Your lineage and things like that. And now we have it, which is great because it's now giving closure to things that maybe people had thought, like, man, I'll never have closure on that. We just never know.
Well, some of the family members that passed away never got closure, but
yeah,
there's family members that still like, Man, my uncle passed when I was 3 years old.
Or my grandmother used to talk about her mother and what happened to her. And,
and I never got to meet her. And now we know that, hey, we found who did it.
Yeah.
Gives you a sense of, not a sense, but it gives you closure, and
right.
You feel good because, like the one I talked about last week, going back, it was 48 years, not 46. I kept saying 46, but I found out it's 48 years.
Man.
And so now she does have closure,
Right,
The deal was the one who did it lived 48 years or 45 years after he committed this heinous crime, and never paid the price.
Right.
So the closure's not full, but at least they know.
But at least they know what happened.
It was solved.
You know, it's not like they're gonna go their whole lives without figuring out what happened.
Exactly.
And see, that's exactly what this story is.
Mine too. Like this. There is an update that I found today on this story. It's more intense than what I have now.
Right.
So maybe not next episode, but in the future, I'll come back to this one.
Okay.
Because there's been some updates on it.
Awesome.
That I found, and I just didn't want this podcast to go 2.5, 3 hours because it's pretty long and it's interesting, man.
Right.
I'm hoping that the family finds closure, which you never know. You never know, man.
Yeah. Man, that's good. Well, I'm excited for today's episode, man.
Right.
Before we start, I got a funny story I want to tell you. I got a crazy story. Okay. So for everybody out there, I don't know if this story is going to relate to y'all because there was a viral video, and I don't remember when. I just know it was back it's been years, probably like 2015, 2016, something like that. There was a guy named Mike, I think that was his name. Not Mike Epps. Shoot, not Mike Epps, man. It was this white guy, man. He did a funny video in the car talking about pay it forward scheme. He had got stuck in at a drive-thru, right?
Oh.
Right. So, dog, it just because something happened to me the other day that was, bro, it was so hilarious and it made me think of that skit. But check this out, huh? Let me tell you, huh? All right, so check this out. Man, I go to McDonald's, right?
Who doesn't, man?
Nah, check this out, dog. So I went to McDonald's. Man, all I ordered.
You got me laughing. I didn't even heard the story yet.
Hey, man, wait till you find out.
Man, hold on.
Because look, when this happened, it pissed me off.
Right.
But it was so, now
How you gonna get pissed off when they pay it forward, man?
Just watch this. Hey, that's messed up, man. Hey, we're supposed to be paying it forward, good conscience, Nah, this pissed me off, bro. Check this out. So I'm in the drive-thru at McDonald's. I go and I'm only ordering a large, I got me like a large Dr. Pepper,
right,
and a McChicken.
Okay.
Add cheese.
Oh, you was on a little diet that
day. Yeah. I went a little light. Yeah. I went my usual order. So, I ordered me a McChicken. I got me a large Dr. Pepper. So, my meal wasn't that much, right?
What, $3.50 maybe?
Yeah, it wasn't that much. So I pulled up to the window, and the lady says, "Oh, no, hey, the person before you paid for your meal." Okay. And I was like, "Me?
Right.
Wow. Okay." And so she's like, "Yeah, they paid for your meal. The last couple cars, this has been happening.
Oh, okay.
One person paid for the person's meal behind them. They paid for their meal, and somebody paid for your meal." Okay. She's like, "Do you want to pay for the person behind you?" And I was like, I was almost going to be like...
Okay, make a quick turnaround. How many people in the car?
Yeah, let me check now. So I was like, yeah, that's cool. That's awesome, man. So I had him, and he was like, okay, that'll be $32.50. What? Hey, man, I said... What? I said, what? What did they order?
Right.
I started looking back like...
Right, I'm telling you, there's a whole family back there. What?
I'm like, who's back there? A football team? Golly.
Tell me you paid
it. Yeah, I paid it, man. I don't want to look like I was broke, man.
I would. My meal's $3.
I almost said, nah, let me just go ahead and get my receipt. Oh, man, dude, it was crazy, bro. And so I was like, man, that is the most expensive McChicken I've ever bought in my life.
I hope you enjoyed that one, baby.
Man, I did. Okay. Ranch, and I put some ranch and buffalo together and made it work.
Wasn't dropping nothing.
Oh no, I ate the cheese that was stuck on the paper.
Ate the ice and everything out your cup.
Yeah, man. I was pissed off, man. So hey, man, if y'all go do a pay it forward scheme, y'all better order light, brother. Golly.
I've never had that happen to me. And I'm not cheap either, man. But how much is that order? 30. It stops here. As a matter of fact, here's my $3.50 for my meal. Get their money back.
Oh man, dog, it was crazy, man. I paid it, but golly, man.
You're a better person than I am, dog.
The next time I pull into a line and they say, "Hey, we're doing pay it forward," hey, you know what? I got enough built up good karma from my last pay it forward. I'm good.
I'm dead serious. No, baby, it stops right here.
That was funny, man. I just thought I'd tell you. Man. I waited all day to tell you on the podcast because I thought it was so funny,
dude,
man.
That's insane to me, dog. I'm not cheap neither, man, but...
Hey, man. Hey, know your limits, man. Golly. But no, man.
That's cool, man. That's cool.
I just want to tell you, I thought it was funny.
That came from your heart, so...
Well, at the end of the day, man.
Mainly from your wallet, but, you know.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, you made those people feel good behind them, you know, hey.
Yeah. And, hey, look, I look at it this way. I know we laugh and joke, but... Man, that probably could have been that people's last $32.
Right.
You know what I mean? And if I can spare it, why not, man? God put us here to help each other
I
out.
see a lot of videos like that too, TikTok here and there, and where people just pay for other people's groceries or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I would like to be at that point in my life. I'm not there right now, but
shoot, that's the goal.
But if you're able to, I probably won't put it on a video, you know, because
there you go. Yeah, a little bit closer to the mic.
Because the video, you're not doing it out of your heart. You're doing it for likes.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
but no, it just, man, it was funny, man. And I mean, like I said, I'm blessed that I was able to, that it didn't break me to pay the 32.
Well, exactly.
And
it wouldn't have broke you, man, because
yeah.
We know our limits, you know.
Yeah, for sure. And it wasn't a big deal, but man, praise God that I was able to do that for somebody.
Most definitely.
But it was just a funny situation.
Dude. I mean, yeah, that was amazing. I'm gonna grab this right here, dog.
Oh no, go ahead. Oh yeah, I left my straw trash up there. Yeah. No, man, but yeah, man, shoot, let's dig into today's stories, man. Okay. We got some interesting content for y'all today, and man, thank y'all again for watching. And shoot, we'll just dive in, man.
Stay tuned and follow, like. We appreciate all that. We're doing this for entertainment. You know, we're hoping that you enjoy this. Like I said on a little quick video that we shared, we funny.
Yeah,
I think we funny.
Yeah, we funny.
You know, and that's what we're here. We're here to make y'all laugh and enjoy.
Yeah, I think me and you can agree on that. We're both the people that enjoy to make other people happy.
Most definitely.
I think I get happiness out of that.
You know, I have a full-time job, and man, all day long, these guys are like, I can't even deal with you no more, dog. Because I don't come up with jokes, but I tell them jokes, and they're like, dude, where are you getting this from? Because they're like stupid but funny, you know?
Yeah.
And they're like, dude, it's amazing. But yeah, that's who we are.
Yeah, that's who we are.
We've been like this since many years, you know.
Oh yeah.
Not just because we're family related. It's just we grew up with the families that enjoy laughter and get-togethers.
Yeah, for sure. Know? Exactly. That's just kind of who we were bred to be.
Right.
And so, thank y'all again. And yeah, y'all keep watching, man. We're going to bring out some good content, funny content. Yeah. And shoot, how you want to do this, man? You want to go first? Or
yeah, why not?
Yeah, because I ended off last week. So let's hear what you got, man. Okay. What you got for me today?
Okay, well, I'm sorry. Here in Plainview. Well, not so much Plainview, but the surrounding areas. There's 9 unsolved murders dating back to the 50s. Okay,
wow, 9.
Yeah, wow. And Plainview is trying to solve 5 of them.
Okay,
I'm only going to talk about one today. I did try to get a hold of one of the detectives here in Plainview. I did talk to the PD. They didn't really have a lot of info for me.
Okay.
Crime Stoppers, I tried calling them. They didn't answer. I left a message. I haven't got a phone call, but I will try to get a hold of them. What I'm trying to do is get this word out, to these people, so y'all can, maybe not the youngsters, but the older generation might remember or have seen something that when it clicks,
right?
So, but yeah, that's what's going on. But
cool.
I'm gonna go back, start the story of this chick named Andrea. I hope I don't mess this up. Pharis, Phares. Pharis, Pharis. I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds good. Pharis, yeah.
Yeah, but this was May 4th in 1955. She disappeared. She lived in Health Center in rural Harris Center, and she was never seen again, ever.
Wow.
To this day, she still, they haven't seen her or heard from her. So there was sketchy reports in the news, on the accounts of. This is coming from sketchy reports and other sources.
Okay.
This content is not an exclusive, of course. I wasn't there, but it is something that I did investigate and look
do some
up.
Research,
right.
Independent research on our behalf.
Okay. She was 21. She was attractive, fair, complexed, Spanish girl.
Okay.
She was 19 years old at the time. She ended up coming to Health Center to work the fields with the migrants, and she ended up marrying her boss. Her boss was, I believe, 35 at the time, which I think that's what it said, was 35 years old at the time. He had just divorced his wife. She was 19, and he ended up marrying her. Don't know how long they were married before she went missing.
Right.
Didn't say. But his name was Bill Pharis, and he was a cotton farmer. I don't think he owned a farm or he wasn't a rancher. Maybe he was just a hired man or whatever. But that's who she ended up marrying. He told authorities that she left in the family car around 8:30 p.m. and without anything, she didn't say why or what. She just walked out.
Right.
And she didn't leave in the car. Well, what it said in the reports was a family car, whatever that means. I mean, I guess you got a family car and
like a
personal car. I guess his personal car or whatever. And all she took. She didn't take her glasses. Apparently she wore glasses and it said no clothes, no nothing. But she did take $1,400 in cash. And I looked this up. The equivalent to that money to now was $16,000. $1,400 valued from 1955 to now. If you had that kind of money, it'd be roughly $16,000.
Wow,
that's quite a bit. I mean,
that's quite a
especially
bit of money,
for 1955, migrants weren't. I don't think any migrant had that kind of money.
Yeah, that's quite a bit.
That's quite a bit. But
it's quite a bit to have on you, especially like on your person.
Right. Yeah, for her,
that's quite a bit.
Check this out. She was 7 months pregnant.
Wow.
7 months pregnant. Yeah, so on the reports, the next day, which would have been May 5th, they found her car only half a mile from Health Center, Texas. It didn't say what kind of condition the car was. It was burned, it was trashed, flat tire. What was wrong with it? They just found it, right? So, in this report, it don't say much about this man. All it says was, upon investigation, the results was saying that there was problems in the marriage. Okay, like I said, I don't know. It don't say how long they were married.
Right.
But there was problems. Towards the end, he was accused. He was accused of, I don't want to say murder, which I'm sure that's what they're calling it now. What they are calling it in the Herald, because they never found her.
Right.
In this article, it said that it never stated. if he was acquitted, but he never went to trial.
Oh, really?
So, like I said, I've got another report, which will be another day. I'm sorry that maybe just what I'm telling you maybe should have been a little bit better, but this is what happened to her, and that's why I'm talking about this girl.
Right. Okay.
There was an intense search back in the 50s for migrants. You know, it's like the indigenous people in America right now that they go missing, and who cares? I don't know if you knew that or not, but
yeah.
You know, they just don't do so much searching for an Indian female that's gone missing.
Right.
You know,
right.
because of who they are.
Yeah.
Same thing with the migrants. That's what I would be thinking. That who's going to do this? There was an intense search with horseback. It says shovel and horseback, so I mean people were out there digging, you know, looking for graves or whatever.
Right.
But
right.
what was crazy was the area at this time. I guess they were putting gas pipelines. I guess natural gas. You know,
Right.
I guess health center was growing or whatever it was. So, like I say, he was never convicted, which is kind of ends right here. Yeah, it ends right here. He was never convicted, and he moved to Oklahoma.
Oh,
he moved to Oklahoma, but that's why this one was kind of sketchy because I didn't find the other article until this afternoon.
Okay.
Which I didn't have enough time to script,
right,
you know.
Right.
But it just said that he moved to Oklahoma to work in the oil fields. Okay. And the other one, I did glance over it in 1985, which would have been, 30 years later.
Right.
And he'd be in his 60s. He was living in Arizona. He was still alive in 85. I don't know if he's alive now. I did Google him. I did try to find out he was alive or where he lives now. Not that I'm gonna call the man or anything like that, but I should, you know.
Yeah. Hey, what's up? Did you kill your wife back in 57?
55.
Oh, 55. Yeah. Did you kill your wife back in 55?
But I googled him. I couldn't find him. I kept finding some millionaire with the same name. I know. Okay. I don't think it's him. You know, like I said, the other article that I just glanced over said that he was still alive in 85 and he was living in Arizona. Also, I mentioned the other article was talking about she had a brother. This man took her as his wife and brought her brother in. This first article didn't mention none of that. Oh. So the other article is more of I guess, a family history type deal.
Right.
Which I feel bad that I didn't do better research before. I thought I found everything that was available. Because this comes out, this article came out in 2003. So we're already 20 years past this article.
Yeah.
So it's deep. The other article that I kept scrolling looking, I found is from 2007. So it's 4 years. And I believe the article was looking back at the century or something like that, which was, it had more insights of what's been going on in the last 100 years of Plainview.
Right.
You know. So that's an interesting story that I don't want to say that it was never solved because she was a migrant.
Right.
In the 50s, there was still a lot of segregation.
Right.
You know, I don't know if that, it said it was an intense search. Intense to them and intense to us could be different, you know.
Right.
Last week's story, you talked about, what was his name?
Riker Webb.
Riker Webb.
Yeah, Riker Webb.
Okay, when you talked about they had this massive search, I can believe it was massive. You know, 150 people. Right. Here, I don't know how many people. That's why this report is kind of sketchy to me. It's not sketchy. It's just quick and easy to let people know a Hispanic was murdered. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's how I feel it because of the 50s.
Right.
But what I do want to give y'all, like I said, I'm trying to get a hold of the detective and try to find out more about this case and the other 4 cases that they're working on. But I have a non-emergency number here, which is 806-296-1182. That is the Plainview PD non-emergency number, which is best to use, instead of 911. 911 gets pretty
Reserved for
busy.
emergencies.
Only. So I mean, I talked to her. She mentioned her name, and I don't know who she was, but she didn't have much to go on. I guess I don't know if her computer don't have anything.
Right.
But
and maybe there's a lead detective that handles.
Well, that's what she told me, and
right.
I know the guy, so we're from Plainview.
Right. So we have kind of easier access to get to talk to him.
I left him a message, but when you're a detective, if you get off at 5:00 and you don't have to worry about a case, you want to go home and release all the bad that you saw today or whatever. As a detective,
exactly.
I've never been a detective, so I wouldn't know.
But you just imagine that there's a lot of
you get home, I get home, I just want to relax for a little bit because I just put in a hard day's work.
Yeah.
Detective's work is a little bit different than what I do.
It's a lot of mental. A lot of up here. I mean, I imagine as a detective, you see a lot of heartbreaking things. Right. That's not always the case.
Not always the case, but
you deal with a lot that you have to come home and unpack.
Right. He deals with so much that we don't hear about. You got
exactly.
You got the the ambulance is going on while I'm at work all day long.
Yeah.
Just you can hear it. Police, you hear them. But what's the outcome? I don't know. Maybe a child, is suffocating or fell in the pool, or an older gentleman fell, didn't have a life alert or whatever it is, so they deal with a lot, but I'm also going to give y'all the Crime Stoppers number. I was trying to get a hold of them, excuse me, to see if there was a reward for some type of information that leads to an arrest. And I say that to lead to an arrest because a lot of times people think that if you put in a tip and there's a little outcome, but it doesn't lead to an arrest, pretty much you will not get paid. It's a tip that they're going to go on that became faulty. So if the tip leads to an arrest, then you'll get the money. And that's what I was trying to find out if there's any reward for this.
Right.
I mean, this girl had $16,000 in her purse,
and the money was recovered.
It never said anything about the money. Like I said, this article was too short. It was just like I said,
and I find it crazy that they reported that she had that in her bag, but didn't report on if it was recovered or if it was missing.
Well, because to me, this gentleman, maybe he got his money back. I don't know what happened.
Right. Yeah, you can only speculate with no information.
Right. I don't have the info. In the next coming weeks, I should have a better story on this and an outcome, which will lead to not lead, but give you some insight on if there's a reward,
right?
Or where if I get a hold of the detective, where are they at this point? It's a cold case. Is this man still alive? Are they still looking at him? How many lie detector tests did he take? I'm going to try to get more into it because I find this very interesting, not just because she's Hispanic, because it's in our area.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
And I have a number here for the Texas Tip Hotline also.
Right, and I will put that on the screen for y'all. So if y'all have any information,
right,
or if y'all have any clues or anything that can help out, I'll put it on the bottom of the screen for you. What's that number for the
tip line? Yeah, the Texas Tip Line is 1-800-252-TIPS. TIPS.
Awesome.
And any tip, anything that you see or hear that is not particularly with just this case, but anything that you see that's doesn't feel right to you, whether you're at Walmart, you're like, I hear it all the time, people say, man, this person was just following me.
Right.
Make a phone call. Don't put yourself out there to where you can get hurt or, God forbid, murdered because you're not paying attention. So, and be aware of your surroundings. I mean,
right.
In these times, we all have to be aware of our surroundings.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so definitely.
That's where we're at with this, with Andrea Pharis. I mean, and I hope, like I said, this article didn't mention family or anything like that. So I don't know where she's from, if she has still family members living, she was 7 months pregnant, so I don't know. Right. But hopefully something comes out of it to where her family gets a little bit of a closure. Right. I would like to know if one of my great uncles was murdered and they never found the culprit or whatever. I would like to find out now, even if it took 35 years.
Right, right, exactly.
So,
man, that's an interesting story, huh?
That's crazy, man.
Man, we're going to take a brief pause, and then we'll be right back, and I got an interesting story for you.
All right.
All right, we're back. I don't know what happened with the video. We're going to have to get that fixed.
Taking care of y'all.
But it's all good. Man, that was an interesting story, man. I got one for you, too.
All right.
So, today's story that I have for y'all, The Boy in the Box.
Boy in the box.
The boy in the box.
That sounds interesting already. Just the boy in the box,
Man, hang on, because this one's a little tough. February 25th, 1957. The body of a boy was found in a box in an illegal dumping ground near Berry Road in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia. He was about 4 to 6 years old.
Between 4 and 6?
Yeah, he was between 4 and 6. Around 30 pounds. His hair was recently cut. Nails were recently cut. The body was wrapped in a blanket inside of this box. He was wrapped in a blanket, and the blanket had recently been washed.
Okay. I don't know. Maybe I missed something. They found him in the box?
Yeah.
In a house?
In an illegal dump. No, I said that. In illegal, yeah. Illegal dumping ground in Berry Road in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia.
Okay.
Yeah, near Berry Road. So his body was wrapped in a blanket. The blanket looked like it had recently been washed. There was small scars on his chin, groin, and his left ankle. There was also they accredited his death to blunt force trauma to the head.
Okay, so he was beat.
Yeah. So the young man that found him on this road,
right,
didn't call the police right away. He actually waited 24 hours.
But that's insane,
right?
I mean, if I find a body, I'm going to call immediate.
Yeah, yeah.
But then that was 1957.
Yeah, and so there was also a second man that found him. The second man found him, didn't call the police. And then whenever he came forward saying, well, I had saw him too, the police said, well, why didn't you call? And he said, well, I just didn't want to be involved. So...
if you didn't commit the crime, you're not going to be involved. You just let the police know, hey, I found his body. I ain't touched it,
But, sometimes when you're the first person to report a murder,
you're often the
first suspect.
Yeah.
What were you doing over here? Exactly, And so, man, so finally when he contacted the police, the police went out there because of the wait, because of how long he waited.
How long he waited.
Yeah, and at that time the weather was like, it was snowing, it was real cold. So they really couldn't estimate the time of death.
Okay. Rigor mortis had already set in?
Yeah, well, it was below,
so
freezing
his body was
cold.
Frozen.
Yeah,
so his body was frozen. So
it's cold. So,
okay.
They had visitors from 10 states. Because, see, they didn't know who this little boy was. So they had over 10 visitors. They had visitors from over 10 states total. They're trying to ID the little boy. But nobody was coming forward to claim him.
Right.
So the police sent out about 400,000 flyers to, post offices, local, different areas, just trying to get him. They had his picture up there. They had him on poles. They're just trying to get somebody.
Right, because back in 57, other than telephone.
Yeah, other than, all you could do was post it,
pictures, yeah.
And so they sent him out just trying to get somebody to come forward to ID the little boy.
Right.
So even the American Medical Association sent out a description of the little boy, and they're trying to get hospitals involved. Is there anybody who knows anything about this little boy?
Right.
They're trying to get his picture out. So his fingerprints were taken, but there was no match in the database.
Well, he's 4 years old, between 4 and 6. Why would he have his fingerprints in the database?
Well, like when you're born, they take your fingerprints.
They take your footprints. I don't know about your fingerprints.
Well, they took them all, though. They took his fingerprints, footprints.
Right.
Because they have the body there. So it's obvious the little boy...
But there wasn't a, like you said, a database for kids at the time, was there?
Well, no. Well, the database is open for... they just have... everybody's fingerprints are in the system.
Right.
And this just shows that he was born under the radar. He must not have been born at a hospital. because nobody can recover his fingerprints from the area.
I understand. I see.
You know, so there was no match. There was a couple clues that were left behind. So number one was the box. You know, there was a serial number on the box. When they traced that serial number, it led back to a JCPenney's.
Okay.
And it turns out the box was a bassinet. That's what belonged in the box.
Oh, okay.
Turns out when they did some research from the JCPenney's, there was 12 of those bassinets sold. So they reached out to
they're in Pennsylvania.
People. Yeah, they're in Pennsylvania at the JCPenney's. They reached out to all 12, and 8 of them responded back saying that they still had the box or they either threw it in the garbage.
Right.
So they all 12 of them paid in cash. You know. So here's another crazy thing. There was a hat found right near the box, a little ways off.
Like
the
a
box.
baseball cap?
Yeah, it was a baseball cap labeled Eagle Hat and Cap Company, which is a local company in South Philadelphia. So the reason why that's a clue is because the lady that owned the small company was Hannah Robbins. She actually made custom hats for people. She made, that was her business.
Okay.
So when they went up to her and asked her, hey, we found this hat, she remembered who made the hat, not by name, but by description. They said, yeah, I made that for, he was a white man, blonde hair, aged 26 to 30. And she remembered because this man specifically requested that there was a leather strap and a buckle added. And he paid in cash. And so...
That's pretty amazing that she remembers all that.
Yeah.
And then for him to...
she just don't remember his name.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but... for him to leave something that he made specifically for himself, not saying that he did,
right?
That he killed his man. Maybe somebody stole his cap. I don't know, but
yeah. See, and that's another thing. So, but that's pretty much everything. I mean, they couldn't figure out who the boy was. They weren't finding no leads. There was no IDing. So, let me jump into some theories that they got. So, number one, there was 2 writers. Jim Hoffman, Lou Romano. They actually rented a place out. They went forward to police saying they remember. They weren't sure if this was going to make any relevance to the case, but they told the police that they recently rented a place to a man in Philly who told them he sold his son.
That he had sold his son?
Yes.
I'm trying to fathom that because if I was to sell a child, I'm not going to tell anybody.
That's pretty crazy, right?
I'm not going to put it out
there. That is not something that you just brag about. Hey, I just sold my son. I had to get a new car.
Okay. I mean, that's absurd to me. But
yeah, it is crazy. So check this out, man. A forensic pathologist looked at pictures of his potential father and potential brother from the guy that, because they knew who the guy was that sold the house.
Right.
Yeah. So check this out, huh? DNA was taken from the potential brother. But investigators never said if they were going to test it. All they said was they would investigate further.
Okay.
And nothing ever came out of that. Yeah, nothing ever came out of that.
But they didn't have, and I keep saying this genealogy. Back then, I don't think if you took DNA from your brother and you, I don't know if there'd be a comparison match.
Well, they had
with DNA.
Turns out. So yeah, through here they have where they could test DNA. The problem is the investigators didn't. That's all they said was they would investigate further. They didn't, and nothing came out of it.
Well, nothing came out of it because they never said nothing, or because they said it didn't match.
No, they didn't. There was nothing reported on it.
Okay.
And so, that was kind of the end of that one.
Right.
So theory 2. You got a guy named Remington Bristow. He investigated this case for 36 years and even traveled to Arizona, traveled to Texas from Philly, just to chase leads that he had got, different things. He was super dedicated to this case. And he was so dedicated, in fact, he would carry a mask, a picture of the little boy, and he would, be like, hey, have you seen this kid?
Put the mask on himself?
Yeah, put the mask on.
Dude, you're going to scare people like that. Like,
crazy, right? Yeah. Why would you do that? But, I mean, he's just
going back, how did he come up with these leads?
Well, it's just people calling
Well,
in,
I know,
and
but
he's
I mean,
the lead investigator on the case.
Oh, I thought he was like a PI.
No, he's one of the investigators.
He was one case. Of the okay.
And so he's getting these tips and he's chasing them. I mean, he's dedicated to it.
Right.
He theorized that the boy died accidentally, and the reason for that is because the boy had a fresh cut of hair, his nails looked groomed and well taken care of. Right. So he didn't see no cause for a murder. I mean, yeah, he was he had blunt force trauma to the head, but he theorized that maybe it was an accident, and because the parents didn't want to get charged for a murder, they just dumped the boy out.
And I've heard that theory before in a lot of well, I guess maybe not so much true crime, fictional crime, SVU or some of those shows. I wouldn't know if people really do that. Do you think?
I mean,
they would hide a body.
You gotta think, man. Sometimes things happen, and you really can't see how you react.
Right,
and you may overreact and be like, man, I don't want to go to prison, or I got other kids that I need to take care of, or what if they dump the body? Maybe nobody will know. I mean, he wasn't born in a hospital.
He wasn't meant to be found in, probably.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and I understand
it's a legal dumping ground, so nobody should be there.
Right.
So, I mean,
it's because I mean, 4 to 6 years old, if they had friends, they knew they had another son, and all of a sudden he's just gone.
Right.
People are going to ask questions. I would. I mean, if my nephew, your son, I quit seeing him, nephew, what's going on? What happened?
Yeah.
That's my reaction.
Right.
But
it's crazy to think of, right? Okay, right. So check this out. He looked into a foster family that actually lived near where the boy was dumped.
Okay.
He actually went to him. Turns out, cops had already talked to this foster family.
Oh, okay.
The reason why he pursued them even further is because in 1961, they had an estate sale. And Bristow found a bassinet there in that estate sale that could have matched the box that the boy was found in. It was a bassinet that belonged, it was the same brand and everything.
Right. And you said that they found it through JCPenney's with the serial number?
Yeah. Well, okay. They didn't. Well, the serial number wasn't. I don't think it was on the crib.
That's what I'm saying.
But it's the same crib that goes in that basket.
So they just found this particular box that JCPenney sold. That's what it was. It wasn't a serial number. It was just a box that JCPenney probably exclusively sold.
No, it had a serial number on the box that led to JCPenney's.
Right. Oh, okay.
They showed where it was shipped from. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so he found a bassinet there and thought that could have been where the box came from.
Right.
And turns out, in his mind, he theorized, he thought the daughter of that foster family was the mother. Maybe she had an illegitimate child and didn't want to find out. Back then times were different, man. And you didn't want to be, I guess, like a single mother.
Right.
And it was frowned upon back then to be having kids and not have a father.
Oh, of course,
or be with the person.
Right.
And so maybe they
So that's theory 2?
Yeah, that's the second theory. So, but I got some more. So, Bristow actually died in 1993. He didn't get to finish the investigation.
Well, that's a long time, though, man. 30 some odd years, investigating one case.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it hit his heart.
Yeah.
That he really
focused.
Wanted to find his kid.
Yeah, exactly. And so he ended up passing away in 1993. So Tom Augustine took over.
Okay.
Around February 23rd in 1998, he visited Arthur Nicoletti, which was the former owner of the home. And his wife, Anna Marie, was actually his stepdaughter.
Hold on.
And that was the girl that he thought that Bristow
had the illegitimate child.
Yeah. And so just a weird twist on that.
Right. I mean,
the guy ended up marrying his stepdaughter.
That's crazy.
Just crazy, right?
Well, it's crazy nowadays. We call that grooming.
Yeah,
but back in the day, I mean,
things like that may have happened.
More than we know.
And so, sadly, I mean, there was nothing that ever came out of that.
Right.
I mean,
so that's a dead lead.
It became a dead lead after that. So the third theory, and this is the strongest theory, and I think it's so interesting, man.
Okay.
It was a psychiatrist in Cincinnati. They called Augustine, and she said, "Look, I have a patient here by the name of Martha, and she is, I mean, dead set on talking to the police from Philadelphia. That she has a story to tell." So, detectives came out there, actually went to go question Martha. So it turns out, when she was 11 years old, Martha claimed that her mom she was a abusive mother. She sexually abused her. She abused her.
Right.
You know, she was just not a good mother to her.
I've heard about the olden times. I don't want to say olden times, but
yeah,
you know,
but
the 40s, 50s. You know, mothers were, because back then there wasn't the 2-income families. Mom stayed home, and she raised the children. What I remember, what I've heard, not remember because I wasn't born, but what I've heard is they were pretty rough.
Yeah,
you know, switches and stuff. You know, nowadays you don't find that. I'm not saying you don't find mistreatments of children, right, or sexuality or whatever you do.
Yeah, no, but it's just back then there wasn't, like now there's a lot of measures put in place for kids to report. And,
right.
You know, back then that was just common that kids were getting beat or whatever, right, and it just wasn't.
You kept it in the house. Radar.
Yeah, you kept it in the house.
You didn't tell your friends.
And so, yeah, man. So she said that her mother was very abusive, sexually abusive, and she said that one time her mom drove her to Philadelphia, and actually she saw her mom hand over an envelope to somebody for a little boy.
Hold on. hold on. Now, she paid for the little boy. So the man who said he paid, he sold his son.
So does that not connect to theory one?
Because because you said, right, those guys said, hey, he told us he sold his son.
And isn't it convenient that no DNA, that they didn't test the DNA? I mean, God, if they would have tested it, what could it be? Yeah. So okay, so just to summarize this up, so she said that she remembered seeing her mom, you know,
right,
basically purchasing a little boy.
Right.
So she also claims that while at the home, one day she was struggling to bathe the boy and she beat him to death. She said she saw her mom beat the little boy to death, and then she remembered them driving to Philadelphia and dropping a boy off in just in an area and taking off.
She was 11 years old, so she's
she was 11, so she, you know, of course,
she don't remember where exactly,
but she just recounted that she remembered that the mom beat that little boy up and drove him and dropped him off somewhere in Philadelphia.
Wow, that sounds more believable to me than any other theory that you have, because 11 years old, they know.
Yeah, I mean you're
already preteen.
You're
preteen already, you know. So
exactly,
you know, but to hide that in was probably because of fear of her mother.
Right? Yeah, what her mother was going to do.
But no, she saw what she did to him. She could be next.
Yeah, exactly. You know? And I mean, look at her now. She's in a psych ward. You know what I mean?
Well, I can imagine.
Or not a psych ward, but I mean, she's having to talk to a psychiatrist. I mean, she must have issues.
Yeah, because
from what she experienced,
what she saw,
the trauma,
right?
And so so she recounted all that to Tom Augustine, Joseph McGillen, and William Kelly, which were the three main. Well, two of them, Joseph McGillen, William Kelly, were actually the original detectives on the case from back in '57. And then Tom Augustine.
And what year was this when she
This was I don't think I wrote the date down.
Okay.
To be honest,
but it wasn't recent.
No, this was
like in the 70s or
80s. So Tom Augustine took over in '93. So this happened around that time.
Oh, so it was already
this has been already for a lot of years past.
So she was that lady's probably already, she was 11 in '57. So she'd be in her 50s because that's 40 years, 40 plus years.
So man, she talked to the detectives and they were convinced that was what it was.
Right.
And sadly, nothing ever came out of it. At that point.
I mean, she bought this child, which I hate to say that on air, but there's no DNA that she can say, well, he was my little brother.
Yeah, because she's saying that the child was purchased.
Right.
So I mean, there's no.
So he's just to her. He's a nobody. You know, there's
there's no match between
there's nothing
them.
to find. What's that word? There's nothing to compare.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't compare that, and
yeah. So sadly, that went cold, and it's been cold up until So here, okay. Before I continue that statement,
okay.
So they ended up having to bury this child in a cemetery in Philadelphia, and just to be,
this was in '57.
Yeah, yeah.
They did bury him.
Yeah, that year, they went ahead and buried him, and of course, the case ran cold, and on his tombstone they put America's unknown child because he was never claimed.
How do I not know that? How do I not? I'm sorry. How I hit a can.
Oh.
How as many podcasts that I listen to on crime, how have that story ever popped up on my feed?
It's crazy, man, because and that's why I'm glad we're doing this podcast.
Right.
Because man, there's so many unsolved murders. There's so many things that haven't been discussed yet, and that's why I love to deep dive into these things that people don't know, because there's a lot of cases that are talked about. And then there's a lot of cases.
And there's a lot of podcasters out there that are reporting stuff like us, right? Like you right now with that story. First time I ever heard it. Okay, now I'm intrigued. I hope we can find who this little boy was. I know there's a lot of Jane Does and John Does out there. Funny story with that. Unsolved mysteries. My daughter, when she was younger, she was so enjoyed unsolved.
Was that the one with William Shatner?
Yeah.
That's a bad dude right there, though.
Well, she's been a crime junkie for I don't know how long, right?
Right.
Now she's a crime junkie. She knows, listens. Well, I guess she must have been, I don't know, between 11 and 15 years old, and she goes, she wants to solve one crime. Yeah. Well, actually, at that time she wanted to solve an unsolved mystery that aired on that show.
Yeah.
But now that we have technology and we have, we can do our own research to where anything is possible.
Yep.
The more eyes that see reports, you might see something that nobody has ever really seen. And you're like, exactly. Dude, did you check this? And they'll be like, never have. Boom. I'm not saying it happens like that, but you never know. There's too much technology. There's too much out there that we can research that people might have just researched it, printed it, and not realized what they printed. Right. That's what I'm thinking. So, it could happen sometimes, because we've got so many people out there the missing.
Yeah.
Missing.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know how many people in the area, but I know that and this comes through me knowing people like Lubbock is one of the main stops for sex trafficking.
Right.
Lubbock is a big sex trafficking area where they stop, do what they got to do, and then move on. Yeah. So whether they're coming from Nicaragua or Mexico or Panama, wherever, that they're kidnapping these young females and stopping in Lubbock. That's just insane, because I do keep up with the news in Lubbock because I got family up there. I got a son and a daughter, and I worry about them.
Yeah, man,
my daughter works late night, and I worry, when she walks to the car,
right,
because like going back to what I was talking about earlier, being aware of your surroundings. It doesn't have to be Walmart. It's anywhere.
No, it's
you
anywhere,
can be at a convenience store and you stop to put gas, which I'm a believer in. A man needs to put gas for his wife. That's how I feel. I'm not married, but sometimes females stop late night going home because they need gas, and then you never know what can happen from there.
Yeah, man. Like even recently, bro, there's on Facebook yesterday. I don't know if you saw it. A lady from Lubbock posted about the fair.
No.
You didn't hear about that?
No, what happened?
Oh wow.
I This week, I've been working and trying to figure out, for the podcast.
Right.
So I did stay off of social media. I was dealing with more research and anything else.
Right. Yeah. So, man, this lady in Lubbock posted that her son was at the fair.
Right.
And it was her son and a friend, and they went into a haunted house ride they have there.
Right.
And they said that for some reason, she's like, man, she thought it was taking a little bit long. Like, man, they haven't came out yet, and there's only one exit.
So it was a haunted house type.
Yeah, like you go in and it takes
so
you
like
on
a little
ride.
roller coaster ride.
And so apparently, she said, well, they're taking quite a bit, and then she sees her son walking from around the backside of the ride.
What?
And she's like, what are you doing? And he's like, I don't know. He's like, the ride stopped midway, and the worker told me to go out through the back. And he said that when him and his friend went out the back, there was a bunch of RVs out there, and that there was a guy by the RV motioning the kids like, come here, like,
are you serious, nephew?
Yeah. And so he said that he was like, I thought that was weird, Mom. So he just walked around and came back to the front of the ride.
Wow. What about his friend?
So
his friend?
They both
came out. Not just him.
Both of them. So the mom was like, y'all be careful, watch us kids, because she's like, I thought that was strange that a man,
because of what happened last year with somebody bringing a gun in there. They said they were going to have more security, which is all fine and dandy in the fair, but around it, outside, I mean, who? I'm not saying I would have never thought about that, but it does happen apparently.
Yeah, it does, man, and that's what I'm saying. So, just be cautious, like Unc said, man. Women, y'all be careful. Y'all pay more attention to y'all surroundings. Cause I'm not trying to pick on women, but I feel like a lot of times women don't pay. They don't pay attention, but they're just not. When you're going in to get what you're getting and you're coming out, man,
you're focused. You're focused on your task to get back home to your children.
Yeah, but look around. Be aware. Yeah. Watch the exits. Watch.
So many men
you never know.
Just naughty, man.
Yeah, man. It's just
some dirty men out there. Just do stuff. Ungodly.
Yeah. And so, yeah, man, it's crazy. But yeah, this story, man, is crazy. There's an update for it this year, and I'll talk a little bit more about it on next week's episode.
Okay, because I do like that story. That's interesting. I pray for they find. They'll probably never find the culprit. Maybe not.
Yeah. But at least they're at least able to link him to a family,
right?
And let his family know that that's who it was, right. And he can get a name on a tombstone or whatever, So that's a good thing, man. And it was interesting that it's crazy that how fast time and technology is moving up, and we're able to solve things that happened in the 50s.
Yeah, something like that, right?
That's incredible. And so I'm hoping with us making this aware, there's more people out there. Like you said, we'll put the numbers up for the hotlines.
Right.
For anything that's in our area, that'd be cool to solve.
Right.
Something.
Yes, sir.
That'd be great, man.
Right. I mean, wouldn't it be amazing if we solved one?
Oh, man. That'd be crazy. Don't let me solve it, because I'm finna turn up. Hey, I want to be on the police squad.
You ain't lying.
I'm a detective now.
Right. with no knowledge of nothing, but
yeah, I don't got no police knowledge, but I know I can look up some stuff.
We can research some things,
But yeah, man. So that was an interesting story, man. And man, I got a great story for you for next week's episode, man.
Okay.
It's the disappearance of the Solder children. Oh my god!
I think I have heard about that. I can't be quoted on that because I've heard so many stories. I listened to one podcast and it's 5 years old, and I've been listening for the past 3.5 years, and I've heard sometimes I have to ask my daughter, "Do you remember this story?" She's like, "Yes, that happened." I wish I had my daughter's memory.
Yeah, she's got good memory, man.
I'll ask her, who was the serial killer from here? Boom, she tells me.
Yeah. Man, we got to get her on the podcast, man. We're going to do some talks.
I talked to her. I want
some serial killer talk.
I don't know if I could.
Oh, yeah, you can, Brandy. Come on with it.
Right? Yeah, Brandy, I would like for her to come on.
Yeah, come on with it. We need
she has so much knowledge on crime.
Yeah.
And victims. She knows a lot about victims. She knows what goes on. She dealt with that for many, many years. She's no longer doing that type of work.
Yeah, but
she's got a lot of knowledge, and she could probably let y'all know more than we do for sure. You know,
that's awesome.
She'll be able to tell you boom statistics, and you know, that's her. My brain is 57 years old, and I forget in the morning. I forget that I gotta work sometimes.
Man, that's crazy.
Right.
But no, man, this was a good one too, man.
Right.
I think we're at a good point, man.
Okay.
I'm trying to keep this one a little bit shorter this week, and man, we got some great stories for next weekend.
Right. I'm gonna have some full content. Hopefully, it is more intriguing as we go along. The better the story, the better the content. You know, it's just gonna be crazy. I enjoyed it tonight, man. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, tonight
I
I had a good time,
nephew.
Oh yeah, for sure. And man, thank y'all out there so much. Thank y'all so much for watching.
Yes.
Thank y'all so much for keeping up with us.
Exactly.
Like my uncle said, man, we're gonna every podcast is gonna get better and better. You know, this is our first video podcast, and so this is a learning curve for us too.
Exactly. Like it's learning.
Yeah, it's a learning curve.
We do appreciate y'all very, very much. We can't do this without y'all.
Yes.
Please hit follow. Please hit likes. We would appreciate that very, very much. We're here for y'all.
Give
us a feedback. Yeah. Give us feedback on what y'all want to hear, what y'all want us to talk about, or I don't want to say act something out because we ain't gonna act no fool, but you know,
I'm gonna turn up a little bit.
No, but I do appreciate
it. Oh yeah, for sure, man. It was a good night. Thank you, man, for your stories were interesting. Your story that you told, man, that was a good, interesting local story.
Right.
And you know, I'm excited for next week.
Me too.
And,
already.
Man, I'm excited for Halloween because we got a special Halloween episode for y'all.
Dude, your neighbor just asked me, why ain't you set up your Halloween stuff yet?
Man, yeah, because if y'all know me, I love Halloween.
Yeah.
I love Halloween. It's probably like my favorite holiday, and I go all out. My front yard, man. Which I'm gonna do that this week. I'm gonna have my puking skeleton outside.
Like last year?
Yeah, like last year.
Right.
It's gonna be fire, man.
Yeah.
And so for Halloween, we got a special episode planned for y'all. So
exactly.
We got a couple more episodes before that, but man,
yeah, that one's gonna be interesting, man. Cause I'm not gonna reveal anything on it, but it's gonna be interesting.
It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. So y'all stick with us, man, and thank y'all again for subscribing, liking, following. Y'all keep it up, man, and the more y'all do it, the more we're able to stick to this content and do it more. And man, it's a blessing.
If for the Halloween content, let us know. If there's a story you want us to research and tell y'all, that let us know.
Or if y'all have a ghost story that y'all want to tell. If y'all want to tell a ghost story and y'all want it told on the podcast, email me at latenightconversations24@gmail.com or hit us up on Facebook, Late Night Conversations with Uncle Nephew. And if y'all have a scary story, a ghost story that y'all have from y'all's home, shoot, let us know, man. We'll talk about it on the podcast.
I got one too, dog. I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you too, but I have one that I kind of saw, so I have to research it because it's kind of unbelievable. So if it is, I'm going to let you know.
Y'all tune in. It's going to be a great episode.
Exactly.
And so thank y'all again. I think we can close out right here.
All right.
And so thank y'all again. And man, y'all have a great night. And
stay blessed.
Yeah. And thank y'all for joining the Late Night family.
Always.
We out.
Peace.